Hey everyone, welcome back to the Brain Soul Success Show. This is October, and October is actually Mental Health Awareness Month. And I was thinking about our last retreat, which we just had a few weeks ago in Carlsbad, California. We had 30 people in the room, and about half of the people in the room had an experience in their family with some kind of mental illness. And I was like, wow, really? Like nephews, nieces, cousins, uncles. It was just an amazing share that I just was like touched by. And of course, Brain Soul Success tools can work on this. And, then I looked it up and it was like 1 in 5 Americans experience mental illness every year. And what I know is, especially like anxiety, depression, trauma, all of that can be worked on naturally too. So, yes, there's medications for these issues as well, and everyone has personal choices there for sure. But I'm just thinking of a client I work with. I'll just call her Linda. And she came in with a lot of anxiety and couldn't focus and couldn't get things done. She was a coach, she had a business, and she was not getting anything accomplished. And she had difficulty sleeping as well. And what we did is we cleared the trauma in the spaces of the brain. So your brain has space in it. And your brain is actually not just a physical organ, it's physical and spiritual. And those spaces in the brain is where the spiritual energy gets trapped. What do I mean by that? Well, you can have an ancestral program that is actually playing sort of a little subconscious pattern or song, if you will, in the brain, and you don't even know it's there. And so what I found was it's not just trauma in your own life. Even our birth is a trauma or a shock, right? And they found that, we have to clear the energy or the emotions of the mom, right? The you, or if your mother's emotions affect you when you're in the womb, is my point. And we even have to clear that energy because that gets stuck in, again, the spaces of the brain. So the statistics right now are just off the charts, in fact, on mental illness, and we got to help this problem. So what happened with Linda is after we cleared enough layers, and I don't know how many sessions, maybe 6 to 8 sessions, after we cleared enough layers and she started learning some tools, some brain soul success tools herself, that anxiety went way, way, way down, and she was able to do her work and get her coaching done and get clients, and everything started to change for her. But she had this, just like, again, this terrible anxiety that nothing was able to reach. So I just want to raise awareness here that there are a lot of things out there that can help that are natural. And brain soul success is just one of them, right? But we really have to look at our mental illness problem. And, a mental illness can be described as either anxiety, depression, or trauma. And the traditional model, is just looking at the symptoms. That is what it's treating, the symptoms, right? The symptoms. Um, the holistic model is really looking at more healing the mind, body, soul, and the energy field. And what I found that we have to do all of them multi-sensory, multi-dimensionally, like together for it to stick. So I created a brain system, and BRAIN is an acronym that actually stands for. So B is body. That's working on the body. That's taking care of, your health through eating healthy organic foods, taking good quality supplements, getting good sleep, exercise, all of those lifestyle things that you think about when you say, I take care of myself, I take care of my body, right? That's important for healing. Again, if you have depression or anxiety and you're eating tons of candy or you're going to fast food restaurants, that isn't going to help, right? We need the good nutrition to feed your brain and feed your body. So that's body. And then R is releasing. And that's where we have to release the mental chatter, the emotional baggage, the stuff that gets stuck. Whether it's ancestral, whether it's the childhood abuse that you experienced, whether it was rape, whether it was divorce, whether it's, death in the family, whatever it is, we have to clear that. And so releasing, it's a big part of healing. But what I found too is it's not just about releasing. So a lot of coaches will do like releasing techniques, but you have to put something back in that space that's positive. So you have to rewire the brain, the body, and the energy field with the positive intention, the goal that that person wants to have or achieve. And so R is release, A is align with spirit, God, whatever God means to you, non-denominational here, God, Jesus, Buddha, whatever your belief is always a part of healing. And then I is integrate your brain frequencies to your soul's true purpose. If someone is having, severe depression and they don't have a purpose in life. They don't have a drive. They don't have, it's like getting in a car and you have something on your GPS and now you know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, you can't get there. So it's about helping someone find that purpose too and allow their gift to shine in the world. I remember my teacher said to me, if you're not using your gift in the world, you're dishonoring God. I'm like, wow, that's powerful. I'll never forget that. So uh, yeah, you really want to, we want to uncover that because you know what? Every single human being has a gift. You all have amazing gifts. Some people are writers, some people are singers, some people are doctors, some people are lawyers. It doesn't matter. That's your profession, yes, but you also have an internal, a gift. Maybe you are more musically inclined. Maybe you're good with math. Whatever it is, you have a gift. And we want to discover that gift. That's the purpose part, right? So integrate all those things together and then find that soul's purpose. And then N is really important. Spells brain again, BRAIN. N is the new program. We have to rewire your brain, your body, your soul, your energetic field with the new program, how you want to show up. I want to be happy in my life. I'm happy and I'm calm, let's say. Okay, let's define that a little bit. Let's walk that goal down. And so we walk the goal down. I am happy and calm in my life. Well, what does that look like? What would change? Oh, I'd spend more time with my family. I'll do this, I'll do that. So I'm just kind of walking the goal down here as an example to you. If you're doing that, what would you tell yourself then? You're not telling yourself now. Oh gosh, I would be telling myself that that I'm allowing myself to live my life to the fullest, right? Or I got this, whatever you would tell yourself. Then another question might be, well, how you feel then that you're not feeling now? How would that make you feel? Oh gosh, I would feel on top of the world. I feel happy. I feel exhilarated. I feel excited. Right? So you help somebody like do that goal setting and walk those goals down. And then there's a way to rewire that. And we rewire it in the energy field using codes. I call them the success codes. And I learned them from my teacher. And they actually go 7 generations back and 7 forward. And I'm still amazed at this work, and I've been doing it for over 20 years because of the results. So when you actually use those codes and you've done this whole system, this 5-step system, BRAIN, it sticks. It sticks, right? So a lot of times we do some healing work or some energy work and we feel good for a little while, but then we move back into that sort of comfort place. And so that's why I like this so much, because it truly clears the subconscious blocks, the energetic imprints, that emotional residue that's stuck there. And so it really is sort of science meeting spirit, if you will. There's a science spirit connection. And we can support the neurological health too here with neurobiofeedback. So I have 5 different biofeedback devices. That's how I got started in all of this, really. I love all that. What I find is that frequency medicine is really important too. And so when I combine the frequency medicine with the brain system, we get those results that stick. Here's another important part of what I found with healing any kind of trauma or mental health thing going on is your axon and your dendrite are the nerve endings. That's just the name of the nerves. And there's a space between them. And that space is called a synapse. That's actually where the trauma and the emotions or those subconscious patterns get stuck. So what happens is when those get stuck between that space and the nerve endings, so in the spaces of your brain, the space between those nerve endings, now the serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter, it's the happiness neurotransmitter, it can't leap that space to make the connection so that the nerve pulse can actually send that signal to your brain. And so I just call it, it's gunked up, like really scientific word here, right? It's gunked up, right? There's this stuff in that space. Well, think about this. Guess what happens, right? You go to the doctor and guess what they, prescribe? A serotonin uptaker, okay? A Prozac or generic form of it. Why? Because the serotonin can't leap that space because it's gunked up with trauma, emotions, ancestral trauma. We got to clear it out. So that's what the brain soul system does is we clear that out and now the serotonin can leap. So it's not that hard to do. And yet it's so completely transformational. So I have another story for you. So I had a woman who lost her father during COVID. And she was so anxious, she could not sleep. And she was losing weight. She wasn't feeling good. She was kind of getting scared already because she was losing so much weight and not being able to sleep. And so we did some brain soul sessions and we cleared out the grief, we cleared out the trauma, and we also cleared out the pictures. She held pictures, right, in her brain of seeing, her father really sick. And so when we cleared out those pictures, as well as did the whole multisensory system, the anxiety started to lift. She started to sleep better, started to be able to eat and gain some weight. And that anxiety was gone. And her pictures, we do before and after pictures, were so different. She looks so much happier, so much more relaxed, right? In the after picture. So that's how healing the energy field, the subconscious level, can really accelerate your results. And so this isn't just for mental illness, it's for any trauma. And yet, what we're speaking about today, because it is mental health awareness, month here, I wanted to make sure we talked about that and that you had some idea of some tools that you could use, and also just to really know that it's possible and that there's hope, right? Because the brain responds to that hope, much like it would to giving you a placebo. Right. So there's brain balancing exercises I have like mind gems. Many of you know those. Okay, you can go to my website, louiseswartswalter.com, and download mind gems. Mind gems is helping balance the rings around the brain. You have an energetic brain. And so they'll help you stay more balanced, more focused. So I recommend doing them every morning and every night. And so I do that every morning and every night for like 20 years. And I can be honest, I've done experiments on myself, right? Just like we all do as humans. I was like, it's Christmas vacation. I don't think I'm going to do anything. And I didn't do my mind gems for like over a week. And I was crabby, you guys. It just wasn't good. What I realized was how much they were really helping me stay balanced, stay focused, right? And then you want to do some self check-ins on your emotional, energy awareness. So be asking yourself good questions. So your self-talk is important, what you say to yourself, right? So you could ask yourself, gosh, how did that make me feel right now? Why am I feeling kind of off balance? What is it that I just did or what happened that created that for me? And how can I get myself back aligned? What are some tools I can use to get myself realigned? Do you need to go outside for a minute? Do you need to take, do some breathing exercises? Do you need to do a few of the mind gems, right? Do Do you need to get some water? Sometimes we're just dehydrated. So it's talking with yourself and really becoming really super self-aware. Okay. And there's another mindset shift that I talk about a lot is that there's fear and faith are opposite. Some schools of thought will say fear and love. I say you can't be in fear and faith at the same time. You're in one or the other, right? So if you're in fear, your goal is to get back up to faith. I'm holding a pen here, and you can go over to YouTube and check this out. But I'm just pointing to the bottom of the pen. It's up and down to the ceiling. And this is fear at the bottom. This is faith at the top. You can't be halfway. You can't be a little bit of fear and a little bit in faith. So your goal is to stay in faith. Okay. And faith is that, that belief again. Who do what's the higher power you believe in? Get to that faith. Okay. That will also help you stay more positive and more balanced. Trust and worry are opposite too. So trust is at the bottom of the pen here. I mean, worry's at the bottom of the pen, trust is at the top, right? So you want to be getting back always to faith and trust. So think about the spiritual aspects of that and how important it is for you to like focus on a higher power and use that in your daily life. And again, whatever God means to you. So that's just another little brain hacker tip for our listeners here to really help you, hone in on what's going to keep you more balanced, more focused, more up, if you will, and happier in your life. And then also do things that give you joy. And again, when we're working with someone who's, pretty depressed, they can't even think of those things. You maybe have to help them. What is it that gives you joy? And it could just be gardening. I mean, I get joy from like putting banana peels in my rose bushes. I dig a little hole and I bury the banana peel and they love them, and so that's the rose food that I give my roses. And just getting outside for a few minutes, especially when I'm on Zoom all day, oh gosh, that's just like a little, I get to dig in the dirt. So that's one little thing, right? So it doesn't have to be a big fancy vacation that gives you joy. It could be one little thing. So make a list of those things that give you joy and give you happiness in your life. And then I just really want to encourage compassion and openness around mental health conversations. If you know that somebody is struggling, please reach out to them, be kind, find a way to have a conversation with them, and also reduce the stigma around this. Realize that many people at some point in their life are going to have a period of depression. Okay. Those statistics say that. So it's okay. We all are different. We all need help at different times in our life. And so I just love my people, and I love working with them, and I love seeing the changes and the transformation that happens for all the people that we get to work with here. And so I want to thank you again for tuning in to the Brain Soul Success Show. And I hope that today's conversation reminded you that mental wellness is possible. And when we integrate the brain, the body, and the soul, so if you're ready to experience some transformation, just visit louiseswartswalter.com and you can access the Mind Gems there and other resources. And as well as reach out to me. There's a assessment. It's a brain soul assessment. And it's an opportunity to speak with myself or with a team coach here so that we can take a look at where you're really stuck and what we need to do to help shift it. And remember, everyone, I love you. I want to see you succeed, be happy in your life. And we are here for you. And succeed beyond your wildest dreams, really, really create that high vibration. So if you've been to any of my events, that's what I love to do. And so I want to continue this high vibration of success, one brain, one soul at a time. Our goal here is changing 10 million brains by 2030. And we invite all of you to join us to do that. And so until next time, everyone, stay aligned, stay inspired, keep your shining light out there, and reach out to someone that might need a phone call or a text. And remember, follow your heart, but take your brain with you.